Hey guys, it's Tombox here, and this is gonna be one of those super rare guest uploads by that Craig fellow. So this guy, after watching this video, please go and subscribe to him, tell him Tombox sent you, because this guy's really impressive, and I honestly believe he could be the next big YouTuber if he gets enough attention. And one of my previous sketches was inspired by one of his videos, so do check him out. And without further ado, let's go into his video.
My darlings, how's it going? My name is Craig, but you don't know that yet because this is a guest upload on MST.TV. So thank you so much to Tombox and MST.TV for the guest upload. I really do appreciate it. So for a quick introduction, my name is that Craig fellow, and I run a Yugi-tubing channel called TCFYUGIOH. Over on my channel, I do a whole bunch of different stuff, from top 5s, card discussions, topic discussions. I cover erratas and new support whenever they come out, just a whole bunch of different stuff, and I really do try my best to put passion and effort into my videos, so please check out my channel if you enjoy this. But today's video is going to be a top 5. As we all know, the new master rule with link summoning and extra monster zones and all of that stuff is going to be kicking in soon, and as a result of that, a lot of decks are going to be a lot more difficult to play, or their playstyle is just going to change entirely. So I wanted to go over the top 5 decks I think everyone should try before the new Master Rule kicks in. So without further ado, let's get started. So coming at number 5, we have Super Quants. Now Super Quants aren't a deck that I've ever had a particular passion for. I played them a little bit when they first came out, but they have one of the biggest, most badass motherfucking boss monsters in the entire game. Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnus, great fucking god. Now if you summon this guy with 6 or more materials, he becomes immune to all other card effects, your opponent cannot search cards from their deck to their hand by card effects, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can shuffle in a card on the field, targeting it of course. And he's a 3600 beat stick. Holy fuck. That is one big badass motherfucking boss monster. Now the reason I have this deck on the list is because to make this guy effectively, you need to summon your 3 Xyzs on the field and then have the field spell to overlay them all and make this guy with 6 materials. As we all know, with the new Master Rule, you can only summon monsters from the extra deck to the extra monster zone. Of course, you can summon them to other zones when they are linked zones. These restrictions are gonna make the deck so much more difficult to play, and summoning Great Magnus first turn is gonna be so impractical. I just don't think the deck's gonna survive that transition. Now, although, like I said, I don't have a particular affinity for the deck, summoning Great Magnus first turn, looking your opponent in the eye and saying, "Deal with that shit," is one of the most satisfying feelings in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it's something everyone should experience before it becomes so much more difficult to do. That's all there really is to it. I just think summoning Great Magnus first turn and just saying to your opponent, "Deal with that shit," is something everyone should experience. So if you haven't played Super Quants, give them a shot before the new Master Rule kicks in. Coming in at number 4, we have Junk Doppel / Synchrons / Quasar, whatever you want to call it. You know, the whole just puke out a bunch of fucking synchros and just draw a million fucking cards. That deck. Now this deck is actually going to be very playable once the new Master Rule kicks in. However, I do think the playstyle is going to change drastically. As of right now, I find the deck very interesting to play. I'm not a huge fan of it, but playing it is a nice experience, and it is something I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, but if you haven't, you need to give it a shot. Just the whole mental math thing with level eaters and trying to work out if you can do it. Trying to go, okay, I have a level eater and a jet engrave, and I have maybe a Doppel in hand, and oh, I have a tuning, so maybe I can build this card. Just trying to work all that out and seeing if you can reach your goal is an incredibly interesting experience, and it's something I think everyone, again, like summoning Great Magnus first turn, should experience. It's something that everyone should feel the satisfaction of. Playing the deck is definitely an interesting experience that I think everyone should have before the playstyle just drastically changes. Coming in at number 3, we have Raidraptors. Now, Raidraptors, much like the Junk Doppel deck, I think are going to transition fairly well into the new format with link summoning and all of those restrictions. I say that because even if you can't link summon and you're restricted to that one extra monster zone, you have Ulti Falcon that you can make with a couple back row. You have Blaze Falcon to nuke your opponent's board. You have Revolution Falcon and Rise Falcon that can attack all of your opponent's monsters. So you have a lot of really good one-card extra deck monsters that can take care of boards. So that aspect of Raidraptors is going to help them transition fairly smoothly over to the new format. But you definitely won't be able to play them like you can now. Spamming 3 Force Tricks first turn is, such a satisfying feeling. Evidently, your opponent always fucking has the Regeki. Thanks. But it's still a satisfying feeling, especially if you have that damn gust to go with those fucking Force Trickses. Gust, that's it. Yeah. What the fuck am I doing with my life? And on top of being able to spam 3 Force Tricks' first turn, you can make infinities with Soul Shade Force on top of like 2 other rank 4s in a turn, you know? You can negate your opponent's entire board with Zero Fine, and then Castell, maybe a big beat stick they might have, and then Soul Shade and Infinity, and just, you can make these really interesting boards. And you can have really interesting outs to a lot of different cards. One of my favorite cards to make in Raidraptors is Digvor's Hat, King of Heavy Industry, and to do that effectively, I need to make like 2 or 3 Force Tricks in order to set up my hand with 2 Vanishing Lanius and a Mimicry, so I can normal Banishing, Special Mimicry, and then I can Mimicry effect, make them all 5s and overlay, and oh god, it's such a rarely seen Xyz monster, and the effect is so good, it's the most satisfying feeling in the world making that, and that's an aspect of the deck you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose that creativity. You're just gonna have to stick with, you know, the Ulti Falcon spam variant of the deck once the new format comes in. That whole kind of make a few different Xyz in a turn and really, you know, make an interesting board, that aspect is going to be lost. And once again, that is something everyone should experience in my opinion. Raidraptors, if you haven't played them, I actually don't have a pun. Shit. Don't be a cheapskate, because the budge, cheap. Oh, fuck me, I give up.
So cold inside, but I can't stop this feeling.
Coming in at number 2, we have a deck that, oh god, I have loved for so long, Yang Zings. Now, everyone knows Yang Zings, but this guy right here, Denglong. More like Long Dong. But what I personally know them for is spamming synchros, creating these really interesting boards and these interesting boss monsters that you just wouldn't think could be boss monsters. Like take Yazi, for example. Yazi, on its own, is a good card. It can't be targeted, but once you give it immunity to traps and you give it the ability to not be destroyed by battle, it becomes a boss monster. And on top of that, once your opponent, you know, sets up their board to a point where you think they might be able to get around it next turn, you can then use the effect to pop itself and pop a card your opponent controls and do all these crazy things with stuff like Magma Dragon, and you got your Chi Wen engraved, and then you can make a couple Baxias and maybe even 3 Baxias in a turn even, and shuffle a whole bunch of your opponent's stuff in. And doing all those crazy plays with the archetypal cards and, you know, doing all of those cool combos, that aspect is going to be lost. And that makes me incredibly sad because that's how I came to know the deck. The person who actually got me into the game as much as I am played Yang Zings, and I saw him making these plays, and that made me want to pick up the deck at some point. Seeing all of that lost, seeing what actually made me interested in the deck lost, that's a sad thing for me, and I think it's something, again, everyone should experience. I say that a lot, but this time I really mean it. A lot of people out there might think Yang Zings aren't that creative or aren't that hard to play, because they might have seen just, you know, the whole I'm gonna spam Denglong variant, or they might think, oh, because they constantly float, it's an easy deck to play. I ask you to try it out. Please give it a shot, because it really is an interesting and very unique deck that creates incredibly interesting possibilities with synchro monsters and playing off destruction. And again, I'm gonna say this one more time, everyone should experience that. So if you haven't played Yang Zings, give them a shot. Coming in at number 1, we have Gem Knights. Now, the reason I have Gem Knights at number 1 isn't because I love them the most. It's because they are the one deck on this list that is absolutely not going to be able to transition over to the link summoning format. Gem Knights are a deck that I've wanted to build in real life for so long, and I finally was able to, and I've been playing them so much lately, and it's playing them a lot that made me realize they're not going to survive that transition into the link summoning format. There's just no way for them to comfortably do it without the deck becoming cluttered and impractical. If you're not aware of what Gem Knights are or how they play, the best way I can describe them is that they are Fluffles before Fluffles were Fluffles. They are the OG fusion spam deck. With cards like Obsidian, Lazuli, and the effect of Gem Knight Fusion to constantly add back to your hand, this deck spits out fusions like it is its fucking job. And not like its single job, no, it has like 5 full-time jobs making fusions. Now, I've tried to think of ways to transition this into the link summoning format. Maybe I can run Revival Golem, you know, and have it sent from deck to grave with Brilliant Fusion for Zirconia and bring back Revival Golem and maybe make Mrs. Radiance. I've tried to think of ways to really make it practical, but looking at the deck list, looking at how it needs to be and how I'd need to run it for the link summoning format, it's just not gonna work. And that makes me really sad because I've been playing this deck so much lately and I've really fallen more in love with it. And knowing how badly it's gonna transition over, knowing that it's almost gonna die because of that transition, really saddens me. And that is the reason Gem Knights is at number 1. It is a deck I think everyone should experience, but I can't really describe the experience of playing it. The most satisfying thing I can tell you about the deck is that when you play Brilliant Fusion and people give you that look of, oh, here comes Seraphonite, I've never seen that before, and you send like 3 Gem Knights for Lady Brilliant Diamond, people's faces light up. Their expectations go from, oh, same shit again, to, ooh, well, this is interesting. Change of expectations, seeing that is really satisfying, but I can't describe the genuine satisfaction of playing the deck to you, so please go check it out yourself before it becomes almost impossible to play. I really urge you. And that is the number 1 deck I think everyone should experience before the new Master Rules, Gem Knights. So that was my top 5 decks I think everyone should try out before the new Master Rule. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please check out my channel and leave a comment below. I will be replying to as many of those as I can. And as I always say over on my channel, take care and duel on. And don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV. Oh! I've always wanted to say that. Bye.